Welcome back. Let's get down to business. Let's talk about these things called missing emotions. What is a missing emotion? It's a strange idea. Emotions that are missing. What could I possibly mean by that? Well, here's the interesting thing. Our lives are nothing more than a hunt for emotions. Let me say that again. We spend our lives chasing emotions. We chase emotions that we feel are missing from our lives. And that governs everything we do. Really, everything. When you want something, when you want a manifestation, you wanted them for the emotion of them. The feeling of having that manifestation is the reason you want your manifestation. Every single thing you want in life is for how you think it will make you feel when you get it. There are really no exceptions to this. Even selfless people who devote their lives to helping others, guess what? They're doing it really because it makes them feel good to do that. It gives them an emotion still. So we come to this really interesting idea that people spend their lives chasing things they want to be, do, and have purely in order to generate a feeling within themselves. It's like those emotions that they want govern everything that they do. Let me illustrate a little clearer what a missing emotion is and how you discover what it is you're chasing. And in order to do that, we come back to our two favorite questions. Those questions are, what do you want? And why do you want it? Let me then give you an example of how you discover what your own personal missing emotions are. Let us say that you decide you want a car. So in response to that, you might list out a few things that you want from the car. You might want a sporty car. You might want, I don't know, something that looks good, something that is comfortable to drive. And I'm sure there's plenty of other things I could put in there, but this is just to give you an idea. Now, why do I want it? Well, maybe I find it, I don't know, fun to drive fast. So fun to drive fast. Maybe it's a thrill to hear the engine. So let's put thrill to hear the engine. And I'm sure there's many other reasons, but this is to illustrate the point. When we examine these statements in the why section, you will start to discover that there is actually an emotion or emotions that lie behind them. So if I say something is fun to drive fast and I say it's a thrill to hear the engine, I could almost say that it's kind of, there's a feeling of excitement there. And that feeling of excitement is the missing emotion for this desire of wanting the car. In other words, following on from what I said earlier, the only reason you want the car is because you want to feel the feeling of excitement when you get it. And that's obviously assuming that this was a complete what and why set of statements. Now, let me just make that absolutely clear to you. The only reason you want the car is for this emotion. Let me give you another example just to make it clearer. Let's say you want a new job. And what do you want from this job? You want you want a boss who likes you, because maybe your last boss didn't. Maybe you want a nice place to work. Maybe you want a short journey to your workplace, assuming you go to a workplace. Now, why do you want all of that? And again, let's have a think about this. Maybe it's you want things to be easy at work. So maybe your priority for your work is you just want it to be easy. Maybe you want to feel good at your work. So let's say you want to feel sort of like you feel good about doing it. Maybe you feel kind of competent about doing it. So I'll put in brackets there, competent. Now, again, if you examine these statements, there are emotions that lie behind them. Now, in the last example about the car, I kind of deliberately forced it to be one emotion. But here, I'm kind of making it two emotions, really, because if you want things to be easy at work, I guess there's a feeling of ease you want about your work. And if you want to feel good about doing it, I've kind of given it away there. There's a feeling of competence you want from your work. Now let's go back again and look at this. The reason you want that job, assuming that this oversimplified set of what and why statements is actually accurate, is you feel that you want ease from it, you want competence from it, and the reason you want both of those things is because you don't feel you have enough ease in your life and you don't feel competent enough in your life at the moment. That is a big thing to understand. You feel that in your life, these two emotions are missing. So that then becomes even more interesting because never mind the job, maybe there will be something else in your life. Maybe, let's say you have a desire for public speaking that you think is unrelated to your job. But if you analyzed it, maybe you want to do the public speaking because it gives you a feeling of competence, because you do not believe that you are competent. You want the emotion of competence. So, as an excuse for feeling that emotion, you've now convinced yourself that you want to do public speaking. Look at the desires in your life. Again and again, you will notice that the reason you want them is because you feel there's an emotion that is lacking. And you are using that desire as an excuse to feel that missing emotion and give it to yourself. Are you with me? I hope you are. This is not a difficult concept to understand, but it is absolutely key. Let's take things a little further then. This is where things get really mind-blowing. That feeling that you're chasing, that feeling of competence, of ease, of whatever else you're chasing, what would happen if you generated that feeling artificially yourself before you even got the manifestation? Remember, for example, with the example of the car, we wanted that car to give us some excitement. With the example of the job, we wanted to feel competence. Maybe then the example of public speaking, we wanted to feel competence. But what if we generated that feeling first? Wouldn't that be the same as getting what you wanted? Because if we're chasing these things for the missing emotion, and then we generated that missing emotion, isn't that really the same thing as manifesting instantly? If the thing you are chasing is only for the emotion and you generate the emotion before you get the thing, you've basically short-circuited the entire process of your manifestation and given yourself the reason you want the manifestation in the first place, which is exactly the same as manifesting instantly. But here is the really mind-blowing bit. If you give yourself that emotion before you get the manifestation, the universe gives you the physical manifestation as well. This is where it gets really, really interesting. Most people in life, they want the physical manifestation first in order to feel the emotion. But what I'm saying to you is, if you give yourself the emotion, you get the physical manifestation as a byproduct. But even before the physical manifestation comes in, you get the reason that you wanted the manifestation in the first place. So you almost don't care whether you get the physical manifestation or not. So then you have this interesting situation where you don't care whether you get the manifestation, and then you're in the perfect place vibrationally to get the manifestation, but you've already enjoyed the result of having that manifestation because you have felt the missing emotion from it. So everyone else sees you getting these manifestations, but since you've already extracted the missing emotion from it, it's actually not that big a deal when you get it. And that is really the key to manifesting what you want in life. Extract the juice of that missing emotion from the thing before you get it. Then you enjoy the thing before you've even got it because you're feeling those missing emotions. And then as a byproduct, you get those physical manifestations, but you're not that bothered when you get them. Everyone else is bothered. They think you've got some magical powers, but you yourself are not, because you're just enjoying the fact that you've enjoyed those missing emotions first. So from everything I've said here, it kind of seems like, it might be worth generating those missing emotions. And I agree with you. It might well be worth generating those missing emotions. But before we go ahead and come out with a framework for generating those emotions, there's one other little concept I want to explain to you. And I'll do that in the next video.